Koistra. I wanted to come in and discuss a discipline procedure imposed by the school that I really disagree with.
Okay. What was the discipline procedure?
Well, the teacher made my son with an ODD write a reflective essay when he misbehaved.
Okay. I see. All right. So let me explain a little bit as to really why that assignment was given to him. So typically, as you know, with your son, so typically students with oppositional defiant disorder, they really struggle with authority figures, tend to be very disrespectful to adults, and other adolescents as well once they start to progress and get to middle school and high school. Usually acting out and being very disrespectful and refusing to do a lot of things. So the essay addressed a variety of things. Number one, it allows him to stop and think about his actions right after he cools down and steps away from a situation where he probably didn't act the appropriate way. He defines and identifies the role that he played in that conflict to increase some self-awareness of, like, what did he actually do when he actually physically writes it down. He also explains in his own words the outcomes of the situation. So maybe how did he feel afterwards? Who was affected by the situation? Also, maybe if there were any consequences, that's also reflected. Once that's all written down and he's really like self-aware of what exactly happened, we brainstorm together, myself and him, on an individual counseling session and think about how we can develop some better alternatives to the reaction. I really think that writing it down is a better alternative because it really gets him in the mode of thinking about problem skills. There's actually, if you take a look at this worksheet right here, this idea about, it's called PSST, it's problem solving skills training. So it's pretty much what we employ through this self-reflection essay. So number one, what the student does is they do a 6-step procedure in which they are taught how to problem solve. Number one, he's defining the problem that he has, whether it's with a teacher or another classmate. Number two, he then identifies the goal that he's setting of how maybe he can go about this problem in a better way. Number three, generate options. 4, he evaluates these options, see what one's the best fit. 5, choosing the best option. And then lastly, evaluates the income. I think that during our individual counseling sessions that this is really going to help him problem solve a lot better than he has been before. Gives him time to be self-aware and really self-reflect.
Okay, I guess I understand.
I also wanted to share with you some tips that you can do at home. So I know you said that his behavior is kind of escalating. So it's really, really important with students who are ODD that we are consistent with what happens in the school building, also with at home. Because if he has this consistency, then he knows like where the line is drawn. And he's not really like playing any of us in any sort of way, shape, or form because he knows like what he can do and what he can't do and what's going to happen as a result of that. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So for one, in order to implement some type of behavior change and really see a drastic change, we should think about the problem behaviors that we really want to target. So we're going to list down, really quick, a couple of his target main problem behaviors. I know that you had listed before that talking back's a big thing, right?
Yes.
He refuses all the time to get off of his video games at home.
All the time.
All the time. And also refuses to get his homework done, right? So those big 3 issues, right? I have them all tracked down right now. Those will be our main focus, but let's also not ignore the other issues that might arise because we know that those are probably not the only sole ones that happen. These will be our main focus, though. So our target problem behaviors with your son. I want to make sure that we're not just focusing on the negative, though, but we need to know that he needs positivity as well. Okay, so it's almost kind of like catching him doing something good. So even if it's the smallest thing that he's doing positive, we need to make sure that we're rewarding him.
Absolutely.
So in the classroom right now, they do a ticket system. So I know a couple of his classroom teachers, they have these little green tickets. So when they see him doing something well, they give him a ticket and he puts his name on it and he gets entered into a drawing at the end of the week where he can earn homework passes, break time, lunch with the teacher, variety of prizes. And those are things that a lot of the students at his age really, really strive for. So that positivity and catching him into the act. So that's a classroom incentive, but I also want to be able to think about how we can reward positive behavior at home. So maybe we can think about a tracker, right? Or ways that he can earn things that he enjoys doing. So a lot of parents who have students with ODD, they post a tracker on their refrigerator. So when they see, like, we made it through Monday without talking back, refusing to do your homework, so on and so forth, you get a little check or a sticker on it. And if they make it to a certain amount by the end of the week or over like 3 or 4 days, then a reward is given. So I want to sit down and just brainstorm a few things. They could be thinking about what he likes to eat. What does he like to do in his free time? Does he want any new video games? And let's jot them down, and we can present this to him and think about how we can work towards these positive incentives. So what do you think about the list I have right now?
I think it's great. I think it's a great idea. I know he's been asking about these video games. His favorite food is pizza, and I don't really like to give that to him, but I could use that as an incentive for his behavior to continue what you guys are doing here at school. Free time, he does have a lot of free time. I'm sure I can find another one to substitute that for.
Awesome.
I can call you tomorrow and give you some ideas and see if you like them.
Great. Sounds awesome. And then the last thing is, so going back to those problem behaviors we talked about, thinking about the biggest ones that you want to tackle. Sometimes students with ODD exhibit these problem behaviors because they're getting a reaction. If it is not hurting you in the moment, we're going to ignore it. And if it's almost like conditioning him to not get that attention, and once he's not getting the attention, he may not be exhibiting some of those minor problem behaviors anymore. But if they are extreme, there has to be a punishment. So additionally, with this tracker, we'll track down the refusal to do things, right? And if he's not doing this, we can think about, and you can do that with your wife at home, think about some ways that you can maybe think of a punishment. And this is all clear and presented to him, so it's a very fair chart, I think. What do you think about it?
I think it's great, and I hope it works.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in.